everybody, welcome to the superhero team. My name is Joe. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our superhero team, it's free. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much. Let's get started. Cobra Kai Season 3 was phenomenal. Hands down the best season. They did a lot of different things in these next 10 episodes to really develop characters and storylines. Still added the comedy, still added the action. So this is definitely a spoiler video for anybody who hasn't seen Season 3 as it just came out. Please watch it. And come back here if you want to watch this video and discuss, as there's a lot of things to discuss in this season and going into the next. So, let's talk about it. The season started with everything, the events have taken place from what happened with the big fight in Season 2 and what happened with Miguel as an aftermath. There's situations with how they're all dealing with it. Johnny and Daniel are dealing with the guilt from what happened from the fight, of them training these kids to take it to that level. Miguel is in a coma. No one knows what's going to happen with him. Robbie fled the scene after that, as he doesn't know what's going to happen with him as far as him being arrested for possibly killing someone. You have Sam going through PTSD from the fight that happened, especially that whole clawing incident where Tori clawed her with those mini Wolverine claws. And, she's scared to go back to school, take on everyday life's physical altercation. It really affects her, so she's dealing with that whole process. You have Tori, who's dealing with, she left too. She's going through money issues from working more jobs, dealing with the sickness of her mother, taking care of her sister and where they're living, dealing with that guy that's, taking advantage of them. So she's dealing with that. You have John Kreese, who's dealing with everything, as now he's the whole leader of Cobra Kai. It's not Johnny anymore. And, he's trying to recruit new people. You're hearing more of his backstory, which was awesome. I love the way they incorporated that into this. You got the introduction of Terry Silver in this, and that could possibly lead into Season 4, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But, I like that whole buildup of John Kreese's character. It showed more of a human side to him where, he was still the villain, but you still took into account that he is the way he is because of all the events that happened in his past. And it was a different time back then. So, you could kind of empathize with him, but you could also know he's the villain going forward because you know the way he is now. So it added a different element to him. But I thought this show was awesome. Still had all the comedy, especially with the scenes with Johnny where, Daniel and his wife were talking on the Bluetooth and he was talking into the steering wheel. I got a good chuckle out of that one. There was the time with the hashtag, I'll tag you on this. And, he made a joke out of that because he didn't know what tagging was. It's just funny. I love the way, even the 93 Caravan, where he joked towards, at the end about that. I thought that was a funny way. That was his transportation, going from this muscle car to a minivan, an older minivan. I thought that was a funny thing to add to him. But, the show has a good ability to add comedy to this, to add that whole thing with Johnny and Daniel where they're always getting together. When they get together, they end up fighting, and that happened very early on as well, where the season ended very differently, and I want to see how that relationship goes even further. You saw Miguel get better through Johnny's help and him trying to help him get back into karate, where I thought as the show progressed, I thought Miguel was kind of going to go against karate and just try to get better, but ended up going right back to it and, wanted to regain his championship. So, you had Tori going back to Cobra Kai because of what happened with John Kreese. John Kreese took care of that situation with the guy, was able to help her come back. And he was talking to her and said she was a born a fighter. So I don't know if that indicates where her father is or what happened to her father. Is her father Terry Silver is still the question. So I want to get into that as well. Because she said, the guy even said to John Kreese, are you her grandfather or something? And he said, or something. So that could indicate something, could be nothing. But that I thought that was an interesting thing. You had, the role of Cobra Kai and the role of Miyagi-Do was really at each other's odd ends as well. But it was elevated to a degree where Miyagi-Do was trying to help Miguel's situation, and Cobra Kai ended up stealing their money, saying that they wanted to help. It wasn't Miyagi-Do that helped. So you had that constant throughout the season where Cobra Kai was really instigating Miyagi-Do, and Miyagi-Do was really taking the brunt of it, while Cobra Kai was able to get away with it. And that whole sort of situation where Miyagi-Do had to do something to get back at them, all the kids in both of those schools. So that was an interesting give and take throughout the season. You had Hawk's elevation in the season where he was going from trying to lead Cobra Kai to questioning their motives going forward, as John Kreese was bringing in new characters, new people to to Cobra Kai. Kyler, instituting Tori, and as she was in it before, but bringing more kids in, where it was adding an element of being more nastier, more bullyish, where Hawk was trying to deal with that situation after he broke his friend's arm, Dimitri. So there was a lot going on in the season. I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot going on in the show. People who do the story in the show do a masterful job of incorporating all these elements in a short duration, but also not taking away from what's going on throughout the plot. And then you had, stuff was going on with Daniel's life where his business was going down because of the events that happened. Word was going around the community. They weren't going to go from him. They were going to Cole to buy their things, where Cole was trying to take over Daniel. Daniel found some information about that company in Japan. He went to Japan, tried to deal with it himself. That didn't work, but he ended up going to Okinawa to basically restore himself, just get himself better. And, he went there to try to learn more about Miyagi-Do, and everything changed when he went there. It was more commercial. There wasn't all this farmland like it was before. And, Kumiko, that was a good relationship that was really, the way they did it was beautiful. The way they did the thing with Chosen was awesome. The way they brought back the girl that Daniel saved in Karate Kid 2 was amazing, and how she was able to, what her situation was now, where she was one of the heads of the company that was trying to go towards Cole, and now she's going to help Daniel. I thought that was an awesome, awesome way to incorporate her into the show, and they did an awesome job with that. So, with the events of Okinawa with Chosen and Daniel, I thought that was a great thing. He learned a lot of lessons from Chosen, learned the whole history of Miyagi-Do and Miyagi, and I thought that was a beautiful climax to that situation with them too, where they wanted to kill. Chosen wanted to kill Daniel. Daniel had to defend himself when they were young, and then meeting up with each other later and really hashing things out and really ending things on a beautiful note. So, I don't know if they're gonna continue with them somehow down the line, but if they want to end it that way, they did it very well. So Daniel went back home and immediately learning of the situation that's going on with Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do. So that had to be a situation where he was trying to train Miyagi-Do to get stronger, where he was more like trying to help them get better because they had so much time where they weren't training. So he was on a different mindset with that as well. So there was just a lot going on. There was, especially with the whole John Kreese character. You saw what happened with him, where he worked at the diner, where he was getting harassed there. You saw what happened with him when he went to the army. Dealing with different times with the wars that were going on there. Introducing Terry Silver in that. And you really remembered what happened in Karate Kid 3, where Terry Silver said, he helped him when he was younger. He owes him for life. And now you're going to see events that carry on from this later. As when they had that big fight scene at the end, I thought that was a great way to, I'll get into that in a little bit. But then as events went on, you saw the climax of what happened when they went to that gala. You saw Allie finally make her introduction. And I thought they did a beautiful, beautiful thing with her as well, where they brought her in awesome. They didn't bring her in as I thought they were going to bring her in as another trigger between Johnny and Daniel, but it was another thing where they had a relationship in the past with both sides. You heard both stories of everything, which was awesome. This show does an awesome job at doing that. It tells the side of each and every character, where you could really lean towards each story and say, okay, I could sympathize with them, and I could sympathize with them as well. So it gives that perfect blend of no one's in the wrong, and everybody just has a different side to every story. So I thought they did an awesome job with that. I love how Johnny was able to finally get with Carmen. I think that's an awesome way to go with the show, having Johnny get with Carmen and really taking on Miguel as, family, instead of just training him for karate and being a friend. So I love where they're going with that angle. I love how it didn't screw with Johnny as well. I thought when he was going with Allie, I'm like, oh no, Carmen's going to walk in when they're at dinner or something or going out, and it's going to end that relationship again and sour everything with Miguel and Johnny. But they didn't go that way, and I'm glad they didn't. So I like how they ended everything with Allie. It kind of leads me to believe this may be another situation where it could end things and be fine, or they could bring her back because she said things in her life were crazy. So you don't know what's going on with her ex-husband. They kind of keep him very coy, where you don't know what's going on with him. Can they introduce him as a character later on? That's what I'm thinking. But it could also not and be fine. So I like how Allie was brought into this very late in the season, very in it for only like 1 or 2 episodes, but I love the way they handled that situation and the way they mended fences on all sides. So then while they were out, you had that big fight between Cobra Kai and Miyagi Do. You had Miguel getting better as he finally was able to have that confidence. I thought they were going to hurt his back again when Kyler was punching him in the back. You saw that close up angle they were doing. I'm like, oh man, he's gonna hurt his back again. But then he ended up regaining everything that he had and beat him down. And the way Hawk stepped in and helped Dimitri instead of previously breaking his arm. So he took his side where he knows he wants to be on the good side now. So I like the way situations are going with both parties. You have Robbie taking on to Cobra Kai because of him seeing Sammy and Miguel getting closer. John Kreese really instigated that, saying that they stuck up for each other when they were trying to get that All Valley back because they canceled the tournament. So Robbie's pissed, and he's joined the dark side. So we're going to see what happens with that. The Cobra Kai is really strengthening their team, adding Tori, Kyler, that other kid, I didn't know his name, but they added a lot of elements to that team where they're making them very nasty. So I'm curious to see where they go next, who they may bring in. And I'll get to that in a little bit. But I like how Hawk went back to back with Miguel and them going to Miyagi Do. You're going to see Johnny and Daniel coming together, as you saw with that epic scene at the end where Johnny went to fight John Kreese at the end. He went in there with Robbie, didn't want to fight Robbie, threw him. Robbie got hurt, where that really leaned him towards Cobra Kai's side. But I'm glad John Kreese didn't do anything with that side and stab Johnny or something. I was getting worried. I thought something like that was going to happen at this scene to make it really stand out over the season 2 finale. So glad that didn't happen. I knew as Johnny was getting pummeled by Kreese, I knew someone was going to come help him, and I knew it was going to be Daniel. And I love the way they ended the season where he did that little fight technique that he got from Chosen. Really ended it awesome where it's going to be Johnny and Daniel training Miyagi Do and Eagle Fang Karate, which was awesome. I love how they introduced that name. So I'm curious to see. I think the showrunners will do something throughout the year to try to incorporate the fans and try to guess the name of the mixture of both of those, Danny and Johnny, on teaching the kids. I think they will have a name sweepstakes where fans guess it. I'm kind of guessing they do that just to incorporate fans in a way. But you're going to have them teaching and trying to win it from Cobra Kai. As Kreese said, if you win it, we'll walk away. So I think it's going to be where Johnny and Daniel is definitely going to lead this team to go into season 4. And, you're going to have Cobra Kai. Who did the big question at the end of season 4 is who did John Kreese call? And it was Terry Silver. His character was already introduced in this. You remember what happened with Karate Kid 3? He was definitely on the phone with him. Johnny also Daniel also was telling his daughter Sammy during the thing where he was trying to have that Miyagi moment where he was trying to help her regain her mental ability towards fighting because she was scared, she didn't know what to do, she was getting panic attacks. So he was able to talk to her through it and try to help her train slowly to get back into it. But he also introduced to her Matt Barnes and talked about him a bit more and what happened, how he instilled that fear in him in Karate Kid 3. So that introduced Terry Silver in this, that introduced Matt Barnes in this. So you're definitely going to see them in season 4. And could that bring back Jessica, that girl that was in Karate Kid 3? That was the kind of love interest with Danny. And, so it's going to be an awesome season where you're going to have Johnny and Daniel teaching the kids. How are they going to get along training kids? How are their styles going to mesh well together when Johnny is kind of a strike first person and Daniel's more of a defense person and kind of countering sort of karate? So that's going to be an interesting element. What is Cobra Kai going to add more? Can you have a thing where Terry Silver has this award-winning karate son or someone in the family? Do you have people that they're going to really go out and look at? Is Snake going to come back with his gang? It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Season 4 is going to be awesome. So it's going to be a long time that we're going to see this, probably a year and a half. But, with all the events that happened this past year, I don't know if they were filming as much, so that may take time. It may take a year and a half, maybe 2 years. So we'll have to wait and see what happens and what's been going forward with that. But season 3 was awesome. Had a lot of awesome moments in this. It really delved on character development, not only for the main characters, but all the other characters as well. So I think they did a masterful job to incorporate time between each and every character while still getting through the plot of the season and different sort of angles for each person. So looking forward to season 4. I think season 3 was a blast. My best season to date. I'm going to rewatch it again because I'm so hyped. I wanted to do this video as soon as I finished, but I'm like, you know what? Let me wait a little bit, get my calmness down, and then do it. But season 4 is definitely shaping up to be a very interesting season as you finally have Johnny and Daniel teaming up, trying to take down Cobra Kai. So what did you guys and girls think about this season? I know I absolutely loved it, hands down, my favorite. Comment below and let me know as always. Thank you all for watching. I know it's a long video, I apologize. Please smash that like button. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to the superhero scene, join our superhero team. Thank you all so much. Have a great day. Have a great night. Take it easy. Be safe.